Meet Karine Méhu, Director of Digital Marketing at ESPN. Largely responsible for advertiser solutions and fan engagement for the company, Méhu ensures the ESPN brand is strongly positioned in today's media mix. Balance between professional success and personal happiness is key for Méhu, giving her the edge required to be at her best in her position at the worldwide leader in sports. Find out why she's the boss. All right, Karine, before we dive into your professional business, we want to take a peek into your personal business with our She's the Boss ritual. Shoe game check. Tell me about these shoes that you are wearing.
Wow, I love these shoes. I mean, these are BCBG, actually, and I just get a little slick with them. They're a little sleek, a little black, but still conservative enough for the office, so that's why I love wearing them.
You able to go from day to night in those?
Totally, totally.
So let's dive right into your business here at ESPN. Talk about what your position here at ESPN actually entails.
Wow, okay, big question, but essentially my job is to make sure that we're providing solutions for our advertisers, be they with print, on air, if it's a feature in a studio show, also online, whether it's a mobile opportunity, a tablet opportunity, an opportunity on our ESPN.com homepage. So my job is to make sure that our brand stays concise and clear and always serving our fans, but at the same time making sure that our sponsors have a really interesting way to provide their brands to our fans as well.
Now, I know that you spent 9 months being unemployed after being laid off from an online company.
Yes.
What did you do during that time to stay motivated and to keep your spirits up so that you wouldn't give up?
It's a great question. I think that, I tell this story all the time. Everyone I meet, I am not ashamed of it. I actually wear it as a badge of honor, but I found that I looked for a job like I had a job. I looked from 9 to 5. I took an hour for lunch. I sent out nearly 400 resumes and cover letters. I think I may have landed 5 interviews during that span, which is how saturated the market was at that time. That was during the infamous boom and bust of the internet. And I think that what I did to make sure that I stayed positive was I had a great support system. I have great family, I have great friends. I had a great relationship, which I still have now. And I think with that, I was able to sort of remember that I am not my job and my job doesn't define me. And that losing my job had nothing to do with whether or not I was smart enough or I was good enough or I was, good enough at my job. And the best thing you can do is to keep educating yourself, stay positive, and make sure that you are always a commodity, whether you have the job or not.
Being in this position as the Director of Sports Management here at ESPN, a lot of people look at you and say, wow, she's made it.
Has that come yet? I don't really know about that. I don't know necessarily that I ever want to say, hey, I've made it. I think that you make different milestones across the span of your career, but I'm always looking to be better, to do more.
How are you able to manage this job as well as balance your personal life, time for yourself, and family?
ESPN is really generous when it comes to that. They understand the balance between home and family and the workday. I think it's important to have balance, to plan ahead, to make sure, hey, listen, I know I'm going to have a few late nights this week. And make sure I put some leftovers in the fridge just in case someone needs to heat up some food and I'm not going to be home to cook, or have some takeout on the menu and have that ready to go.
Do you have any tips on time management? Because it sounds really essential in your position.
I think you have to know when you are your best. I used to make promises to myself on my way home. Say, okay, when I get home, do the laundry, I'm going to cook, I'm going to clean, I'm going to do... No. I am not a person that does well when I get home from work. And when I get home from work, I want a remote control in my hand and, a glass of Diet Coke. That's all I want. I don't want to go home and start working again, so to speak. But I'm a morning person. I think it's knowing who you are. So in the morning, I'm up at 4. I like to do my workout. I like to get everything settled in my home, make sure everything's ready to go, get to work early and prepare my day. And this way, by the time I knock off, I'm done. And everything else is for me. I don't have to feel as though I'm forgetting anything or not doing something. So I think that you have to know who you are. If you're a night owl, use that time to make sure that you're preparing for your next day because you need to sleep a little bit more.
So you've been here at ESPN for a little over 4 years. What's some of the challenges that you face as a woman in a male-dominated industry of sports entertainment?
I think in corporate America in general, there's challenges for women. I think that what ESPN does is try to find a way. Our motto is serving the fans in all possible ways. So how do we find a way to serve the fans best? It's by having diversity of thought, thinking, gender, etc. And as a company, we've done a great job to just make sure that people who are here are reflected in our fan base and vice versa. So we're a mirror of our fan base, essentially. I think that across the board, females just need to make sure that they're prepared. When you walk into a room, you're prepared. You know what everyone else knows, and therefore your gender doesn't really stand out. After a spell, your mind, your intellect, your expertise will stand out, and that also will take center stage.
What advice would you offer to women who aspire to be in this industry?
I would say the first thing to do is network, network, network. It wasn't always as easy when I first got into this field as it is today. There's so many tools out there on the internet that you can utilize, so many organizations and groups that you can join, affinity organizations as well that you can join. I think that that's very important. Also, I'd say be a fan of what it is that you want. So if you're looking to get into a career in broadcast journalism, see who's your favorite, who would you like to emulate, who would you like to mimic. Look at the programming of a network where you'd like to join. Be familiar with the programming, because these questions are going to come up. Be familiar with advertising solutions that you're seeing on some of your, like at ESPN. I was very familiar with a lot of our different advertising solutions. So I was able to speak to that when interviewing for the position. It just allows them to know they're actually not just interested in the brand, but what we actually create, what we actually do. I think that educating yourself every day with what's out there. Media is all around us. Pick up the magazines, see what they're doing differently, especially now that things are moving around a lot with print. I would also suggest finding a mentor if you can. There are a lot of women out here who want to mentor younger girls who are coming out of school or part of an internship program. I'd say if you're a woman in school, find a way to get an internship. It is the best experience you could ever imagine. I had an internship every year. When I was in college, I had a full-time job when I was in college. There was always time to party. Get your internship and get some professional experience on that resume, and it'll definitely work for you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for giving us your all today. I had a really good time speaking with you.
Me too.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of She's the Boss. You can catch other episodes at madamnoir.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Madam Noir and like us on Facebook.